Well, now let's get to some of your thoughts on our big story from last night. On the first step towards social housing here in Portland, two city councilors, Candace Avalos from East Portland and Mitch Green from the West Side, are pushing for council to approve a resolution that would allow for a social housing study to be done in the Rose City. Council is set to discuss that proposal next week. Social housing, otherwise known as public housing, is basically publicly owned housing that is permanently affordable and usually managed by local government. The councilors think the concept is needed here to help with housing prices, citing data that shows half of all renters in Portland pay more than 30% of their income on rent, and 25% of all renters pay more than half of their income on rent. But the majority of you were not swayed by their arguments. Fred told us housing projects historically become rife with gang activity and criminal behavior, while Avalos offers a comforting thought of putting them everywhere. Land costs, the neighborhood, and neighborhood opposition will be inevitable and challenging. We would need to take a careful look at models, good and bad, from elsewhere before we jump into this. Now, many of you took issue with something Councilor Avalos said when I asked her if taxpayers would be on the hook for paying for social housing.
If the crux of the question of is it the taxpayer that pays for it? I think we as a government, if you are paying your taxes and we cannot provide you a simple thing, which is a roof over your head, that is our responsibility, and that should be on the government's dime.
Okay, so Kara wrote to us saying the response of yes, taxpayers would pay for it is possibly the most ridiculous response to this issue. Multnomah County taxes are so high that people can no longer afford to live here. Now you want more taxpayer-funded housing to house those who don't pay taxes? How does that make any sense? And Henry chimed in saying, I fundamentally disagree with her position that the government should be responsible for putting a roof over my or anyone else's head. That responsibility falls to the individual. This is another example of a hyper-progressive initiative that will cost the city money as the population continues to decline. We shouldn't entertain this idea. Hard pass. But there are certainly those of you out there who do think social housing is at least worth exploring through the study that this resolution would approve. Robin Anna wrote to us that the concept would help alleviate the current wait list issues with affordable housing, writing, yes, this is a wonderful idea. This is a very big step in managing our current and future housing resources. And Heidi says, I love the idea. We need affordable housing, and most so-called affordable housing units built by private companies cost more to rent than most can afford. Social housing would keep it affordable. Also, guessing there is land available that the city already owns where it could be built, saving more costs. A win for all and a good investment for taxpayers. Well, this social housing study resolution is already proving to be controversial. It is on council's agenda for Wednesday morning, and we will keep you posted on what happens.